Alright boys, girls, it's time to put brake lines into this car. I got my stuff here. It's a new skill for me, and it should be good to have because we're going to need it on a bunch of the other projects we have out back. So let's get right into this and let's see what we can get done on the car. I've got all the brake lines and right here that are going to go in there. I've got the 3/16 line. These are the clips to hold it up front. And these are special little clips for holding it in the firewall. They're from a company called Notchhead, I believe. There's the part number to check those out. And they screw into the firewall and they're nice clean looking clip. And I got all the brake line fittings. So these are the little Notchhead clamps. Screw goes in the middle. This is actually the back side. And you can see where the line will actually clip into there. So these are actually meant to snap on and off of the brake line to remove and put them back on with ease. But just like that, it's on and it'll come off the same way, and they mount with these screws here. So working with brake lines, I got brand new lines here on the front driver's side. And they're held in with little clips here and here. Went off the caliper, and the calipers are rebuilt. Tony helped me do it. New everything here, new wheel bearings. The thing is, when we rebuilt these, you could not get the wheel cylinder, but we have a rebuild kit in there. Then, like a couple months later, they came out with, so where do I have those? Brand new wheel cylinders from that guy in Thailand who's I bought a lot of restoration parts off of him. So these are brand new. I'm going to redo those, rebuild with these. These original ones were pitted. So these will be good. They'll help the wheel or the brake calipers last a long time. And they're just puny little guys. They have to fit inside the 13-inch rim. As you can see, I've reused this part, but everything else brand new in here. There's the coilovers for those of you who haven't seen it before. So I'm going to get all the rubber lines in, then we'll go up in here. Before we run hard lines, I've got a couple spots. There's one right there, right there, right there, and then I got 3 of them here. That is where we will put these notch head clamps. These little guys here. So I want to run brake, clutch, and fuel lines. I'm hoping to get all that done for this episode, maybe even bleed the brakes, get them working, set the park brake. So that's the goal for this episode. So we'll just plug away at this. It's all new to me, and we did get new tools. So I bought this at Canadian Tire to bend the lines. Some new box end wrenches. I think you call them box wrenches. They have that look on them there, so that I don't strip out the brake line fittings. And I bought myself this guy here to do the flaring of the brake line ends. So we should have a full episode for you guys to check out. And I found the new sway bar bushings that I had no idea where I left them. So they can go in while the car's in the air too. Alright, so I got the brake line fittings from Notchhead installed. There's one there. One there, another one there, nice and discreet, and then there's the 3 there for the main lines. And I added a little bit of sealant, some urethane to those 3, and that one over there because it's a firewall fitting and I didn't want water getting in the car. So that would be really neat and tidy. I like it. For those of you wondering about the notch head clamps part number that I'm using for the brake lines, the 3/16 lines, it's right there. Just do a little freeze frame. It's 910-31317. And I don't remember if I bought them from Notchhead or from a company like Summit. You guys will have to do your research and see where you want to get those from. But that's the part number right there. All right, so right here I'm working on a brake line straightening tool, and basically there's a bunch of washers of the plastic bearings with, then there's a plastic wheel on the outside that's got a bit of a groove, and you're kind of going to be able to run it through like this, and it straightens it out. So I'm going to put another one in here. This is all trial and error, and the reason I'm making it instead of buying it is because this is like 25 bucks instead of well over $100, depending where you get it. So I'm gonna keep working on that. And then I gotta tap the hole, and we can put another one in here. I'll give you guys a close-up in a sec here once we got this hole tapped. So this is kind of what we got going here. It just kind of slides through there. Not perfection in terms of tools, but very usable. So what I'm gonna do, this is the thing I'm talking about. It's got a bearing with a plastic washer and a groove on there. And then I just hollowed out some bolts to fit over this. So there's those. This one. And one more nut there or such. Next time I would measure this if I do it again, but if this works, it'll be good enough. For the few times I use it, it should work quite well. See if it lines up here. There we go. So yeah, you just slide your line through here and it straightens it right out. It actually pulls the curves right out. So the reason we need that, brake line comes like this when you order it in bulk. I'm sure you guys have seen this before if you're into mechanical stuff, but I'm giving it a shot at making the tool. So that's 3/16 brake line, and we now have a tool that will straighten it. All right, so it begins with the lines. I got the first flare done in here. To match the original one, we're working on the differential housing. That's that piece right there. So now I got this nut on there and the flare. So now I'm gonna bend this to shape, and then we'll cut it with this brand new cutter tool here for cutting metal lines. All right, first brake line, guys, girls. This is the original one. Here's the new one. And I did cut these off because they were right into the rear brake cylinders. Figured they're getting tossed anyways and made new. So this is longer in the amount it needs to be. So I'm gonna go test fit that up into the car and let's go check it out. So up under here, the original line fits in a block that's right there. You can see it. So it goes like this. One-handed is not so much fun, but it's kind of gonna run in this way right there, and it wraps around nicely and it goes up to right there. So let's get the new one in and I'll show you what it looks like. There's my brake line. Runs from here to here. We'll go get the next one made up. Second line is run, guys. That goes from the distribution block over there and goes till there. And this was the factory one that I patterned off of. So you can kind of see the similarities there. Right, check this out, guys. I have the original hardline that goes from the back of the car to the front, and right alongside it, you can see in there, we've got a brand new one. So I gotta flare the ends and put a fitting on there yet, but we'll be good to go at that point. And there they are, laid out side by side. Check this out. I'm pretty pumped about it. I got the protective sleeve over here, just like the original one had. You can see it in there, it's dirty, kind of ends about here. But this is a big long piece of heat shrink tube. So that should add the same kind of protection or similar as to what factory had with their rubber piece on there. There's the line that goes all the way to the front. Comes along here. And it connects over there. The rubber hose that goes to the differential. This part here is the rear proportioning valve. It's a factory one. I've just pulled it apart, cleaned it with brake cleaner. It was all gunked up inside, and then I gave it a coat of paint, and we'll run, as you can see, the new lines into there. All right, so this one is going to be a visible brake hard line. I have the one here. It's actually modified. It's not even original running to the car because we did an engine base shape, so we've changed these lines a little bit. But that guy's going to go, he's going to go from here, the proportioning valve, to right here on the master brake cylinder. There, it's in, and it holds just like that. It's a nice, neat system. That goes to the caliper on the passenger side. You can see it's a little different if you know the car than a factory one. I wanted to keep it all, instead I think it ran here, I wanted to keep it all down low, just to keep it less in sight. And I'll come around and we can take a look at these. So it runs along here on the firewall and it goes to there. There's going to be one last piece for the brake lines that comes up to where this piece of duct tape is. And that'll be that. You'll see there's one more fitting right there. That's going to be for the clutch. There's a clutch hard line that goes there. All right, guys, girls, brake lines are all done. This guy right there was the last piece I put in. They run very nicely. I've tried to keep them really neat and tidy and clean looking. Now let's hope that the flares I did are sufficient enough. All right, guys, girls, I am happy to report the brakes are bled, the drums are adjusted, and almost no drama. Tony came down. I said we had to do a couple things he gave me a hand with. First of all, when he initially helped me rebuild the front calipers, I had them powder coated, and then after powder coat we rebuilt, but we didn't have the pistons at that point, so we had to reuse them with a new rebuild kit, like the seal and stuff like that. Like a month or two later, they became available. So we put new pistons in, and we bled the whole system, and everything worked good except for the proportioning valve on the firewall. I needed to tighten up one fitting. So that was sweet. I gotta adjust the park brake, and we can throw the wheels back on, and we'll have brakes. Nice.